But there is a group of black men who will say out loud that they value white women. They will say they value light-skinned women. They will talk about how their whiteness and the desire to have and hold and be connected to whiteness is part of how they value themselves. They will say this out loud.
Now melon is sweet, the water is life. So every time we meet, I'ma give you a slice, cause I'm the watermelon man. I'm the watermelon man.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Bomani Arma. I wanted to give you my take on this whole situation between Ryan Clark and RG3. I guess more specifically, it's about RG3. I appreciate Ryan Clark saying what he said. There's a truth that I have realized and that I wanted to find the space and the time to talk about it some more. And that is one of the realities of interracial dating. I know I am a Pan-Africanist. I know I'm a lot of people's neighborhood hotep. So some people think that I might agree with Umar Johnson and, snow bunnies never, black queens forever. So they might think I believe that. Honestly, personally, on my own level, I can never see myself having a person who didn't consider themselves black as my life partner. But I do not think having a black life partner is your qualification for being able to feel or think or understand the politics around blackness. I don't think the two things are intricately intertwined. So I don't have a problem with interracial relationships. I understand race as a social construct, okay? But what I do want to do is, and what I want to make sure, and what I think Dr. Umar might have tapped into as part of the zeitgeist, as part of what it's understanding what's going on with black people, is that I'm not going to gaslight black women. I'm not going to behave as if there aren't black men who lionize, who idolize, who put on a pedestal white women because of their whiteness, who aren't intentionally trying to denigrate black women with their worship and their praise and their lust for white women. They do it openly and publicly, and RG3 is one of those dudes. I don't really pay a lot of attention to him. I've always thought he was a cornball, but the little bit of him that I've seen and the bits that RG3 has revealed about himself and that Ryan Clark explained about himself, explain one of the things that I understood intuitively and have believed for years. And that is, there doesn't have to be racial animosity in interracial dating. You can be a black man and fall in love with a non-black person, with a non-black woman, because we are all humans, and love and culture and politics and romance and marriage and children work that way. It's part of the reality, right? You can do that without having any animosity towards black women. That is possible. But there is a group of black men who will say out loud that they value white women. They will say they value light-skinned women. They will talk about how their whiteness and the desire to have and hold and be connected to whiteness is part of how they value themselves. They will say this out loud. And here's what I have learned about dealing with people in interracial relationships. I don't have to assume that the black man who is with the white woman because he fetishizes whiteness, I don't have to assume that about them. I don't have to guess that about them. All I have to do is keep talking to them, and they will let you know eventually. People like RG3 love letting you know that they value whiteness. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to ponder. There are people who date, there are black men who date white women who have fallen in love with a white woman, and they do not see the fetishization of whiteness as part of their relationship. But there are men that do. And the men that do, if you give them enough time, if you give them enough drinks, or if you give them enough podcast microphones, they will tell you how they feel about black women and how they feel about white women in relation to them. And RG3 is the prime example. He did that so well in him reading. I didn't even understand until I saw other people breaking it down how bad RG3's video in imitating the sister, the former LSU player, imitating her speech. He read what she said and then read it with this fake head nodding, hand twisting attitude that's stereotypically black women. That lets you know, and with his white woman in the background clapping it up, which lets you know that he fetishizes his white woman and that he realizes he's getting patted on the head for denigrating black women. You can fall in love with white women. Women are humans. White women are just like us. There isn't anything beyond the complexion other than the cultural stuff. I'm RBG all day. I rep for black people all day because we live in a white supremacist society. But when it comes down to the brass tacks, when it comes down to the DNA, when it comes down to the penises and vaginas, there is men and women, and the racial aspect does not have to come into it. But for some people, it does. And RG3 is one of the people who does. So for my friends out there, for my family out there who are worried about black men who are being stolen by white women, there are certain black men who want to fetishize white women. And I think we need to address that directly. And I think more importantly, we need to not gaslight black women and let them think they're out here alone, imagining that they're black men. There are black men who will say out loud that they prefer white women over black men. There are black men who will say out loud, who will say it over a beat with a rhyme, that they would rather have a light-skinned woman over a brown-skinned woman. Black women are not imagining that, and we need to address that directly because, as Malcolm X said, no one is more unprotected like the black women. So we need to make sure we address that directly, but we don't have to guess and we don't have to ponder about which black men feel that way about black women, because they will tell you. Nothing they love more than telling you how they feel about it. RG3 is the prime example. That's all I wanted to say about that. Peace.